The last time I sat here and gave class was like 35 years ago. I was 14 years old. I haven't done it since. So yeah, please bless me. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Radhanata, Radha Radhanata Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Anna Jaya Jagannath, Alone. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Dayal Nitai Gaura Hari, Dayal Nitai Jaya Gaura Hari, Dayal Nitai Jaya Gaura Hari, Dayal Nitai Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari, Nitai Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaura Hari, Nitai Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitai Mayapur Chandra, Nitai Mayapur Chandra, Mayapur Chandra. Nitai Mayapur Chandra, Nitai Mayapur Chandra, Mayapur Chandra. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Haribo Oh Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajya Kacharya Sotara Sara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Nichalila Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajya Kacharya Sotara Sara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai His Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Six Goswamis Ki Jai, Prem Shekhar Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Prem Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, back to Godhead Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai, Savior of the whole world Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's been like 35 years since I last spoke here. I was 14 years old, roundabout. So please bless me to say something for the pleasure of Founder Acharya, the Guru Parampara, Radha Krishna, and all of you devotees. So reading from Transcendental Diaries by His Grace Hari Sauri Prabhu, Volume 4, Chapter 5, Srila Prabhupada is in Sri Vrindavan Dham, and it's September 5th, 1976. Today is Lord, okay, maybe before I start, it's quite a long, it's 7 pages of fine print. So maybe we'll see how far we go. Also, I was hoping that any of the Prabhus can maybe also read for a page or two. I can hand out. So any Prabhus when you're ready, right? And any Matajis? You all can read? Yeah, that's fine. Do we have a spare mic, Prabhu? Spare mic? Yes, we do. Okay, so I'll read and then we'll stop because it's quite, as I mentioned, a long 5th of September that Hari Sauri Prabhu captures. Today is Lord Vamana's appearance and we observe a half-day fast. The pleasant ideal Sri Prabhupada enjoyed his first night in the garden has been short-lived. Now the temple management and disputes with leaders are once again taxing his brain. He is always frustrated with the management here. Reports of gross overspending are the cause of his present anxiety. Vrindavan is one of the most important centers and a great deal of money has been spent on the temple and on a guest house that has not yet proved successful. Srila Prabhupada is anxious that bad management may not end up spoiling everything. This morning he met with Hansaduta and Akshayananda Swamis. Hansaduta seems to generate agitation and controversy wherever he goes. He has been here for only 2 months and already the devotees have polarized into 2 camps. Those that want him to take over as temple president and those who don't. There is indeed a great general dissatisfaction with the way Akshayananda Maharaj runs things. Although Srila Prabhupada shares this, he made it clear this morning that he wants what he wants from each of them. He sat facing the two sannyasis over his desk, Hansadutta to his left and Akshayananda to his right. Prabhupada addressed Hansadutta first. You are a sannyasi. Why are you spending such a long time here? You have a bus and you must travel. Sannyasi means that now you have to preach all over the world. Why you should be thinking of becoming the president here? Actually, a sannyasi should not remain in one place for more than 3 days at a time. You have your bus, and if the wheels stop turning, then it means the preaching is also stopped. Srila Prabhupada gave Hansadutta the example of the Indian Railways. Quote, they have a motto, the wheels must keep turning. And in the business of every employee, whether in a train driver, a fireman, or a clerk in the office, too, they have to do their bit too, so the wheels don't never stop. So if the wheels stop, business stopped. Close quote. So he told Hansadutta that his bus should never stop. Still, he said, the temple is nirguna, so you may stay more than 3 days. That is allowed, but only if you have business here. Then Prabhupada turned to Akshayananda Swami, quote, now you must stay here in Vrindavan and never leave unless I say so. You must stay and do the management, close quote. We all looked at each other and laughed. Srila Prabhupada is so wonderful that he can give two apparently contradictory instructions and still be absolutely correct. Prabhupada went on to explain that Akshayananda Swami's presence, things in the temple were deteriorating, so he must remain to correct the defects. Gopal Krishna and Harikesh Maharaj joined us, and Srila Prabhupada reiterated his instructions for Gopal Krishna's benefit, first explaining his directions to Hansadutta. Quote, sannyasi should go on preaching. Practically, I was sitting here in Vrindavan in Radha Damodar temple. So at the age of 70 years, nobody goes out. At least from Vrindavan, nobody goes at the age of 70 years. But Krishna asked me. I thought that I must go. Guru Maharaj wanted it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me try. So if I had not gone, then this institution would have not developed. So this is practical. Mahata nirvicharanam. Mahatma, they must move. So when there is absolute necessity, they must stay. Otherwise they must move on. No staying. That is the principle. No staying. I am this old age. I cannot move. Still I am traveling all over the world. I am simply interested that whatever I have done, it may not be vanquished in my absence. Let me go and encourage them. Otherwise I have no capacity to move now. But still I am moving only for this purpose. So a sannyasi must move. A sannyasi must not stay anywhere more than 3 days. That is the principle. Close quote. Then he indicated, Akshayananda explained why he had to stay. Quote, so he was moving, but his moving is creating disturbances here. Therefore, I have stopped. And besides that, a temple is nirguna. A sannyasi is forbidden to stay anywhere else. But in a temple, he can stay for more than 3 days, provided there is business. Otherwise, there is no necessity. So this is the exclusion, close quote. Gopal Krishna looked relieved at Prabhupada's decision. Quote, that solves all the problems, close quote. Open quote, no. Solves or not solves. We shall see later on, close quote, Prabhupada told him. Open quote. But this is the principle. Solution. If we do not become very simple servant of Krishna, problems will increase. it will never be solved. If you have got other desire than to serve Krishna, then the problems will increase. It will never decrease. Therefore, bhakti begins, anya bilasita sunyam. No other purpose than to serve Krishna. That is the purpose. Anukulyena Krishna anusilanam. So our only business is how to satisfy Krishna. Krishna in his original status as Krishna and his other status as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in both ways, he's insisting to preach. That is a very important business. Neither Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nor Krishna has recommended that you become a great devotee and sit down in a place and talk big words and simply eat and sleep. Krishna has never said. That is not Krishna's, neither Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's business. That is not required. Boro boro bandolel, boro boro pet. Lanka daga ke mata kore het. Big monkey, big belly. Ceylon jumping melancholy. There are very many big bellies in Vrindavan. But if they're asked to preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission all over the world, melancholy. Big monkey, big belly, close quote. Addressing himself to Hansadutta, he said, quote, so you have taken a great mission, that world preaching. That is very nice decision. So you have got buses and you've got capacity. You do this. And in Germany, one in India, come and go. What do you think? Close quote. Hansadutta was very enthusiastic to do whatever Prabhupada wanted, but he had a complaint. He had a conflict with Gopal Krishna and temple presidents like Giriraj, because the men whom wanted to join his party and traveling were being checked and sent to other centers even against their will. Prabhupada's initial response was that if a brahmachari wants to travel, there should be no objection. But Gopal Krishna presented another side to the issue. He complained that Hansadutta was enticing men away from by preaching to them and paying them money to them, even if the men were holding key positions in the temple. It sounded that like a replay of last year's dispute between the Radha Krishna traveling Sankirtan party and the American temples. Srila Prabhupada affirmed that the temple establishment has to be maintained. Quote, besides that, Prabhupada told Hansadutta, if you want to take someone, or if anyone is willing to go with you, the president of the local temple should be requested. So if the president thinks that he can be spared, then he can go. But if he thinks that his presence is necessary, why should he go? Close quote. Hansadutta said he did understand and did try to abide by that principle. But in response to an incident cited by Gopal Krishna concerning a man in Bombay, he said that Giriraj had been so unreasonable that the matter that the boy actually ran away. Prabhupada wasn't drawn in that kind of sentiment though. Quote, no, there is so many people. If you do not satisfy his senses, everyone is free to run anywhere, that you cannot check, you cannot say, accuse somebody, because here everyone is giving voluntary service. Nobody is servant. So if he doesn't like something, or at any moment he can go away, at any moment, just like yesterday, the Shastri came, Shri Shri Radharanath ki jai, Shriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So he went away. So just like yesterday, the Shastri came, so he went away. And somebody, they are coming, going, you cannot check them, because they are not our paid servants. They are very kind that they have come here cooperating with us. But still there is some decency If one is engaged in some work, all of a sudden he should go away. That is not very good. Decently, that I used to go, and now in preaching work, so there will be no difficulty. This is the arrangement. Tamal also, if he did so, that is not good, because I want some men. I cannot kidnap from any place. That is not good. We must see that management is going on. The management may not suffer, but the president should allow to go if there's extra men. Prabhupada began to stress that the temple should only have those men who are absolutely necessary. All others should be sent around out to preach. Gopal Krishna nodded. They all can go on the buses, the extra men from Gopal Krishna. But Prabhupada said, quote, no, they should be distributed. They may go to other centers, close quote. So I've read 2.5 pages. So does someone else want to read? Any Prabhus want to read? Anyone? Mike? I'll tell you that. From then.
Then addressing the current situation in Vrindavan, he said, unnecessarily increasing men and increasing expenditure, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. Why? Unnecessary. Only minimum men should be kept who are actually useful. There is no need of keeping extra men. Harikesh Maharaj raised a doubt. When you originally were speaking about Vrindavan, you mentioned that Vrindavan would be a place for those people who have become a little disturbed in Krishna consciousness or burnt out, we call it, from so much activity that he comes here and gets rejuvenated. Is that still? Prabhupada confirmed the idea. That is a fact, but provided he's a devotee. If he's not a devotee, then he'll go away, here and there, here and there. That is the habit. And a devotee is satisfied anywhere. A devotee is not that I'll go to Vrindavan, then I'll be satisfied. Narayana parasarva na kutasyana bibhyati. I do not go to your country taking Vrindavan with me. I had to stay in places where in the refrigerator there is meat. And I was cooking. When I opened it, I saw, here is meat. All right, what can be done? Hare Krishna, that's all. So if I would have stuck to Vrindavan, no, I cannot go anywhere, leaving Vrindavan. No, we can go to hell if there is Krishna service. Harikesh Swami pursued his line of inquiry, trying to get an exact understanding of Srila Prabhupada's desire. So is there some time that maybe somebody could stay here when he comes in that frame of consciousness? Prabhupada told him, it should be now restricted. Not that anyone comes and whimsically goes away. This should be restricted. Gopal Krishna claimed that devotees who just come to visit but don't want to do service are a disturbance. Akshayananda added, a lot of devotees think they come here, therefore work is not necessary. Simply chanting and being in Vrindavan is nice. That's wrong. Prabhupada only half agreed with him. He said that to come and chant was all right, but he agreed that it increased the temple expenditure. Who will collect this 25,000? It is increasing. I can maintain them provided they are actually serious about making progress in Krishna consciousness. Not that some lazy fellow will come and because he has come to Vrindavan, Krishna Chandra. Krishna Chandra. It's something wrong here. The right page. Krishna Chandra. Krishna Chandra has become very much obliged to him. Krishna Chandra had no other friend. That mentality should be curtailed. What if he comes with money to pay for himself? Harikesh asked. Is there a guest house? Prabhupada asked. Stay, there is no harm. There is guest house. He can pay and stay. But here we shall keep only minimum number of men without whom we cannot manage it, that's all. Then Prabhupada voiced his discontent with the present state of affairs. Who will bring 25,000 per month? I am surprised. So this must be stopped immediately. We cannot pay more than 5,000. You stop. We cannot pay. My Guru Maharaj used to say, joint mess. This is not possible. That we have to maintain a big bundle of burden. What is this? Where is that temple in Vrindavan who is spending 25,000, 30,000? Can you say any temple? Bhagavad strengthened Prabhupada's case. Not more than 5,000.
Prabhupada stepped decisively into the management. He told Akshayananda, I'm prepared to pay you 5,000 rupees for 50 men. Not more than that. That I can pay. You do not require to collect. You sit down, but work hard here. Not that eating, sleeping, no. That cannot be done. They must be engaged 24 hours. That is wanted. It is not a lazy, free hotel. Anyone lives, he must be engaged 24 hours. Kirtanya Sada Hari. If he has no work, chant Hare Krishna here. That should be done. Akshayananda told Srila Prabhupada that he requests anyone who comes to Vrindavan to spend at least 1 hour a day participating in the 24-hour kirtan. Prabhupada said, it was not a question of merely asking them. This is the condition, he said, adding with a bite of sarcasm. If you agree, then stay here. Otherwise, you go to Radhakund. He told Akshayananda to make it a rule, and not just for 1 hour. 4 times, morning, evening, night, morning again. From morning 6 to 9, another batch from 9 to 12, another batch 12 to 3, another batch 3 to 6. Again the morning batch 6 to twice one batch. One batch attending once in the morning, once in the evening. Akshayananda furrowed his brow and nodded to show he understood. Very nice. Everything is nice, Prabhupada told him. Only to be managed. Only to be managed. So I am prepared. I'll pay you. Even if you have no money, I'll pay you 5,000 rupees. Keep 50 men. Akshayananda said that he didn't think it was necessary for Prabhupada to pay anything. Then thank you, Prabhupada said. But 50 men you can keep. And there is collection in the box. There is collection by Prasad, so many other things. Bhagatji added, and the altars. That should be engaged fully in deity worship, Prabhupada told him, as he sat back in his seat, his determination set to rectify the mismanagement. Not extravagant, that I shall see, I shall remain here. I shall manage myself. I shall see how things are going on. So anyway, 50 men, 5,000. No more 25,000. Forget, no more 25. Prabhupada was so determined to cut expenses that he even went so far as to say that soap and toothpaste were not required. Why soap? You are so devotee of Radhakund, why you require soap? They are going to Radhakund or Narakakund. This is nonsense. You take earth from the Radhakund or Vrindavan Dhuli. Why you require soap? Neem Tandan neem twigs for brushing teeth. I was doing neem tandan until the teeth fell down. You will know that I was collecting neem, but now it is impossible. That also I have manufactured my own toothpaste. I purchased only the brush and I made my toothpaste at home. I never used any toothpaste. Even in my young days, I never used. You have seen it practically. Not only that now I have become sannyasi. When I was grihastha, I never used. If you cannot use neem tandan, you can use this paste. I will tell you the formula for my toothpaste. Very simple. As far as visiting devotees were concerned, Prabhupada said that they may be allowed 3 free days and then they must pay for their upkeep. He said that even foreign devotee has money and they must contribute something. We are welcoming, provided he is reasonable. Simply to exploit, that is not good. What do you think? In our Indian system, if somebody goes to a sadhu's ashram, especially grihastha, immediately he pays 50 rupees, 100 rupees. He'll not stay more than 3 days, 4 days. But he knows the sadhu, where from he'll bring money. Take. They are paying without staying. In your country also it is done. That is up to the man's conscience. That I have come here, so I require to stay. Pay something. So anything can be done very nicely, provided there is good management. I do not see any difficulty. I am present here. If there is any difficulty, ask me. I shall advise.
The discussion then moved into how to arrange the kitchens. Akshayananda asked for confirmation that the 3 they have now for the deities, the devotees and the guest house should be consolidated into one. Prabhupada confirmed that as his desire. Why 3? Akshayananda nodded. Yes, so I'll give you a list of the preparations we'll offer for your approval. He said that it will mean they will be offering less to the deities. Prabhupada didn't see that as a problem. He counted the number of deities and after some discussion decided that the 10 plates they now offer should be cut to 6. Another item discussed was the flowers for the deity garlands. Prabhupada told them that they do not need to offer roses if they are too expensive. In this way, Prabhupada began to delve into every detail of the temple's expenses. Later in the evening, he worked out various costs with Bhagatji. This morning conference then moved on to other topics. Gopal Krishna mentioned that some of our life members are being harassed by the CID. In Chandigarh, Chaitya Guru reported that a life member had Prabhupada's books on display in his 2 stores. The CID went to him and said, "Why are you displaying these books? What's your connection? Why are you helping Hare Krishna?" So selling books is illegal? Prabhupada asked. Gopal Krishna said that they were just suspicious and there were other reports of similar incidents. Prabhupada began to recall his early years of what he called regular hard struggle in 1966-67 and his problems to obtain residency in America. He then brought the meeting to a close with an appeal to his leaders to be mindful of their spiritual duties. So Krishna gave us some facility. Now you have got some framework. Do it very cautiously, unnecessarily exhausting what we sato vrite sadhu sange. That is Rupa Goswami's line. We should be very honest and live with sadhu, those who are devotees. Tandera charana sevi bhakti shanebas. First of all, our mission should be how to serve the Goswamis. H.I. Gosai ar moi taro das, tan sabara pada renu mora panchakarya, mora panchagras. You cannot act independently. Sri Chaitanya mano bhishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadama yam dadati swapadantikam. That should be our prayer. Rupa Goswami, who has established the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when shall I get shelter of his lotus feet?
Narottam Das Thakur. Something.
Yeah, I've got it. Narottam Das.
You see?
Narottam Das Thakur prays, Tandera Charna Sevi. Tandera means the 6 Goswamis. H.I. Gosai Yar Moi Taro Das. I am servant of that person who is engaged in the service of the 6 Goswamis. And we pray to our Guru Maharaj, Rupanuga Virudha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. Anyone who is going against the decision of Rupa Goswami, reject him. That is our process. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bhujabo Se Yugala Piriti. Who will understand Radha Krishna's loving affairs unless one has gone really through the instruction of Rupa Goswami? Radha Krishna loving affairs is not so easy. Radha Kund is not so easy that by force I go to Radha Kund and become a candidate. Narottam Das Thakur is hankering. When shall I understand about Radha Kund, Radha Krishna's prema? Such liberated great devotees, acharyas, they are hankering. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoiba Akuti Kabe Hama Bhujabo. When shall I understand? And they have understood immediately everything. Not so easy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the facility. Abodha Karuna Sindhu Kachiye Mahan Pralada Brahma Durlabha Prema Nitai Kore Dhana. That is the special verse. It is not very easy thing. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Don't take things very easily. Things are very serious. Therefore we have to go step by step. That is, Narottam Das Thakur said, Tandera Sange. Aim should be how to serve Rupa Raghunath. And Bhakti Sanebas, to stay with the pure devotee who has no other intention. Anya Bilasita Sunyam. That is the process. So do it carefully. That's all. Having been given plenty to think about, the managers took their leave. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Any Matajis want to read? Anyone? It's one more page. Thank you, Mataji.
Several devotees who had been involved in helping the Vrindavan temple are going elsewhere. Aya Dasa, who was managing here for a short while, is going to open a center in Spain. Gunanava is going to the Middle East, and Tribhuvana Dasa is to preach and collect funds. Jagat Guru Swami, who has been here for some time, has already gone to Malaysia to open a center. Harikesha Swami read Prabhupada some mail in the morning. There were 2 letters from the South Seas Zone, both with disturbing contents. From Fiji, Upendra reported that despite Srila Prabhupada having previously sent a letter that they should not take out a loan from the bank in ISKCON's name, they had gone ahead anyway and taken one out for $80,000. Upendra indicated that things in general they are not going too well. Srila Prabhupada advised that Tamil Krishna Maharaj should be informed and asked to check things out. The second letter came from Australia. It was a report suggesting that Madhu Visa may have misappropriated a large amount of money, $250,000, when he left there. However, this has not been proven, nor is it even confirmed that the money is actually missing, because the Australian temples are not in the habit of keeping accurate accounts. There has been no word from the GBC, Guru Kripa Swami, and according to Krishna Swami, no one knows where he is at the present moment. Prabhupada is obviously concerned and disturbed by these different reports, but he is not saying very much. His comment after the letter from Australia was simply money and women. When I asked if any prosecution should be filed against Madhu Visa, if the suggestions prove correct, he said that the GBC should decide. Reports of this nature coupled with management problems here are really too much for Srila Prabhupada. He rubbed his head and complained, "Now I am getting brain fag." I was puzzled. I had never heard the term and I asked him what it was. Purchase only the brush I made.
Last page. It's the last page. It says, yeah.
Repeated, brain fag. Then he told us how one time in Delhi in the 1950s he was walking all over, from one office to another, trying to distribute his Back to God newspaper. The entire production of the paper, writing, editing, proofreading, purchase of paper, overseeing the printing and all the distribution was being done by he alone, with no assistance from anyone. He said he was working very hard, so once, while out in the hot sun, he developed brain fag and began to reel like a drunkard. But he had no money even to stop a taxi. Fortunately, by Krishna's arrangement, just at that moment, a friend of his happened to pass by in a car and saw him. He took him to his home and gave him some medicine, and that cured him. Prabhupada smiled at his recollection and said, "So I was struggling very much, just like some of our book distributors are doing now." A little later, Srila Prabhupada discussed the allegations against Madhu Visa with Arikeshas Maharaj. Prabhupada told him that even if the reports are true, he should not be prosecuted. After all, he told, he is our own man. Srila Prabhupada is settling into a regular program in the evening of sitting under the tamal tree in the temple courtyard to give his darshana to the public. He has always, as someone read aloud in Hindi. When the arti begins, he retires to his garden and sits quietly chanting japa. The garden is proving to be very relaxed. In a natural setting, it's the greenery and the flowing waters of the fountain. Sometimes he calls for his GBCs and discusses with them various topics of management. Bhargava Dasa, one of the main BBT photographers, entertained him tonight in the garden by setting up a show of slides he had taken on a recent trip to Jagannath Puri. Srila Prabhupada enjoyed it, recounting how boy he had seen the magic lantern. Ans Dutta came into the garden to report that some of his men are going to try to start a center in Turkey. Prabhupada was pleased and encouraged him to preach all over the world as much as possible. Prabhupada was resting at night in the inner of his house. Tonight, as he lay quietly on his cot, his side, managing legs, various noises of the night echoed in the stillness. He mused, a little on hearing the sounds of different animals, and chuckled. These monsters, they are very expert at raping, you know that? As I laughed at this unusual bit of information, he went on to say that sex attraction is the strong binding force in all species of life. Only by Krishna consciousness can it be overcome. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadanti Kam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalang Shri Gurung Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatang Sagana Raghunatang Vitamstam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindha Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Pachitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Pasai Bhule Shrimari Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastachada Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lagayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So there's a long purport. Thank you all the devotees for helping in the reading. So it's very clear that there was tensions between two of Srila Prabhupada's senior devotees or sannyasis, Hansadutta Swami at the time and Akshayananda Swamis. And it appears that there was a contradiction in Srila Prabhupada's instructions. You had two sannyasis, and the general rule of the sannyasi is that he's meant to stay a maximum of 3 days in a town or village. But it's a town or village, but a temple is different. And Srila Prabhupada says that the temple is nirguna, it's free of all the gunas. So a sannyasi can spend, if he has more service in the temple, spend more than 3 days there. But both of them are sannyasis. So, and one is asked to leave and one is asked to stay. So it still remains how Prabhupada made it make sense. And also there is also something called a Kshetra Sannyas. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kshetra Sannyas stays in one of the holy dhams, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, Mathura. So Vrindavan is a holy dham. And anyway, all our temples are holy dhams. So Prabhupada make sense for each of the sannyasis. So that was Prabhupada, being the Diksha Guru of these two senior devotees. And they Hansadutta Swami at the time, he was hijacking devotees from the temples. And that's, the temple presidents, Giriraj Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they were all complaining that the brahmacharis were being paid, being preached to, convinced to leave the temple service and join their traveling Sankirtan party. So Prabhupada actually guarded against that. And that also at the same time, brahmacharis should be allowed to travel and preach, but not at the detriment of the temple. So when I was researching this discussion of Prabhupada's with the two sannyasis, I heard, I don't know how many of you have heard His Holiness Bhanu Swami speaking about Diksha and Shiksha. I don't know if any of you have listened to that, Raghunath Prabhu has. So I'd encourage you all to listen to that because it's an amazing discussion on Diksha and Shiksha, because we as devotees, as grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada has left us his instructions and we just read them. But at the same time, it's still conflicting because you need to have Srila Prabhupada present He gave contradicting instructions to two sannyasis. But at the same time, he motivated both sides. So now, if we run into these types of dilemmas in our own minds, how do we address them? So what His Holiness Bhanu Swami talks about in this class on Shiksha and Diksha is our parallel lines of authority in ISKCON. On the one side, we all have, and also our Diksha is Diksha in ISKCON. We have many Diksha gurus, and we have many, many more Shiksha gurus. So at the same time, we have temple management. So the parallel lines, other than Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu, who has heard of this term, parallel lines of Ramaji Prabhu? So there's parallel lines of instructions that appear in ISKCON, because we have Diksha Gurus and we have the temple presidents. Because all the devotees and all the congregation report into the local temples, they're the temple president. And the temple president may be different from the Diksha Guru. So many devotees are initiated by Diksha Guru, and yet we're all following the local authorities, the temple president. So Bhanu Swami talks about how we navigate our understanding through this parallel lines of instructions and service in our Krishna consciousness and our understanding. And if we look at our Guru Parampara, our Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's Guru is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. His Guru is Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And does anyone know, other than Raghunath Bhatta and Ramvijay Prabhu, who's Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's Guru? Anyone? So in the disciplic succession line, Srila Prabhupada, if you look at the Bhagavad Gita, it says Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but the Diksha Guru of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is not Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's also there. So the Guru of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is, does anyone know? Initiated. Sorry? So there's another initiating. I'm just trying to find in my notes now where that is. So there is another, let's see. So Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was initiated by a disciple of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So Prabhupada, our whole parampara is represented with the Diksha line, not the Shiksha line, because it's about instruction. And even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur didn't take initiation from Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Guru is Vipin Bihari Babaji Maharaj. So, and also Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj wasn't a direct disciple of any of the 6 Goswamis. He was initiated from Lord Nityananda's line. So we see that our whole organization, Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, has presented it in a Shiksha spirit. It's all about the instruction and the philosophy. So that is the thing, is that how do we today in our lives apply that? How are we able to reconcile that we have a Diksha Guru and that we have a temple president and management, and how do we follow the instructions based on these 2 lines of authority? And we as disciples need to think about how we carry ourselves out when we engage with our Diksha Gurus and engage with management. And also that often, even with Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, most of them, 90% of them, never spent direct association with Srila Prabhupada when he was on the planet. He was mostly traveling all over the world, and whatever we read about the intimate associates of Srila Prabhupada was growing the ISKCON, international society rapidly in those few years that he had left. And many of the Prabhupada's disciples were taking their shiksha from the senior devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, their senior god brothers and sisters. So our whole organization is built on the culture of shiksha. Diksha is equally important as shiksha. We have to have, and you can only have one Diksha Guru, but you can have many Shiksha Gurus. So we as disciples, grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, we need to apply ourselves in terms of how we take the instructions, how do we align them, and how do we communicate with our Diksha Gurus and our management. Because what we find is, even in Bhanu Swami's class, he says that, he reads out, there's one, he didn't mention the name, there's a guru in ISKCON, before he gives initiation to his disciples, he reads out his pledge as the Diksha Guru, that he is not a marriage counselor, he's not an emotional counselor, he's not a guide, a material guide, a business advisor. He's there to provide spiritual guidance. So that's the important thing, is that how do we align this? We need to be very cognizant about how we, that our messaging with our Diksha Guru and our advice is somehow we make it align with management. I mean, most of the management, they're always aligning with the Diksha Gurus. If there's something to deal with the devotee, they will liaise with the Diksha Guru and align. But then the messaging mustn't be conflicting, because then the messaging from the management may appear like this, and then the messaging that goes to the Diksha Guru may appear like that. So I think that's what's something we need to think about and take away. I'd encourage you all to really listen to that video by Bhanu Swami. And there are many other points. I think time's up. I think one of the other noteworthy points was that Srila Prabhupada talked, there was a talk of Madhuvisa Prabhu. He was a Swami then. And there was some funds that disappeared, 250,000, and then the devotees were saying, should we prosecute Madhuvisa Prabhu? And Madhuvisa Prabhu he gave his whole young life to Srila Prabhupada. He's a sannyasi, traveled, he opened centers in Australia and other places in the USA. And he had given his whole youth to Srila Prabhupada. And even in the one Rath Yatra in San Francisco, it was so successful, one of the first Rath Yatras that Madhuvisa Prabhu set up, that at the end of the Rath Yatra, Madhuvisa Prabhu went to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was jumping in his car and leaving the Rath Yatra. So he went down on his knees and the door was open. And he put his hands together and he said, Srila Prabhupada, is everything okay? How was the Rath Yatra? And Prabhupada took his head and put it on his lap and he petted him with his hands and he said, very nice. Everything was wonderful. So you see Srila Prabhupada's affection for his disciples, and then all of these pastimes in context. Just one last point. Often we always quote Prabhupada in terms of instructions that he given. I think what's important is that we need to be also sensitive that the instructions that Srila Prabhupada gives, we need to understand the context. Because what happens is we often take one line that Srila Prabhupada says and it becomes the de facto that gets applied everywhere. Because there are instances where Prabhupada does give general instructions, but also many with the time, place and circumstance. So that's it from my side. I don't know if there's any comments, corrections, questions. Thank you everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande.